Hi and welcome to Blooming Astrology. Today we're going to go ahead and get into the second chakra of the chakra system. We're going to be talking about the Swadisthana Chakra. Now some people pronounce it SW, and some people pronounce it with SV. S-V-A Swadish, D-I-S-H-T-H-A-N-A. And then some people will do the Swa. The Sacral Chakra is the English terminology for it. And this chakra is a very important chakra because it really has a big part to do with pleasures in our life and where we find pleasures in our life. And you know, pleasures mean a lot in this physical reality. So where is this sacral chakra located? So it's basically where the your reproductive systems are if you're a female, and if you're a guy, you can also relate it with your lower intestines. Same thing with female, your lower intestines. So it's basically 3 inches below your belly button, and on your spine, because all the chakras go along your spinal cord. It's located exactly where your lumbar vertebrae is. So if you want to get really technical and know the exact place it is, it's there. Otherwise, it's just around that area. And depending on how much energy you have flowing in there, it can start to spread out. Because this Swadhisthana Chakra represents creativity. It represents sensual fantasies, sensuality, senses, pleasures. So touch, taste, hearing, feeling, seeing, and it represents all those things. And it represents, like I said, being creative. So to be creative, we have to think outside of the box. And that is why the planet for this chakra is Jupiter. Because what is Jupiter? Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Jupiter is so big, and that's why it's the planet of expansion, but it's energy, the way it runs our life, the aspect of our life that it deals with, and how we relate to Jupiter, and how we actually talk with Jupiter, and not talk, but how we're working with Jupiter is in a way where we are having to expand and think outside of the box, go on a different realm. So that has everything to do with the Swadhisthana Chakra, because the Swadhisthana Chakra is all about creativity, expansion. You can't think in the same thought patterns forever. You can't live life the same way. You have to be creative, and in order to be creative, you have to expand your mind. And when you're expanding your mind, you're being imaginative. So the sacral chakra has everything to deal with imagination, creativity, expansion, senses, pleasures, and fantasies, and femininity. So the element for the Swadhisthana Chakra is water, and this makes so much sense because water is just free flowing. You can pour it, and it's not static, so it's not the same. It's very creative, water, because water can be a liquid, or it can turn into ice. And now it's like rock hard, solid, and can hold a bunch of weight on it. It can, evaporate into the sky and then precipitate into water and, rain. So it's very creative. It's a creative thing, and it's very emotional too. So when you think of water signs and astrology, you also think about being very emotional. So the Swadhisthana has to deal with emotions. And this is why it's so feminine. So if you're a female watching this, you'll probably relate to actually feeling energy there in your sacral chakra when you're, feeling pleasures, or when you're being stimulated, or when you are just being really happy. You might, or maybe you're eating something and it just tastes so good, you can feel it in there. Or when you're being creative or imaginative, or when you're at that point where you're reaching like a euphoric feeling, you can feel it in your sacral chakra. So the reason why females have more energy in this chakra than males do, because do males really show their emotions? No, they don't. That doesn't mean that they don't have emotions, but with the, staying with the social norm and the social, guidelines that we all adapt to, most men aren't going to go ahead and cry in public or show their feelings in public. So they're working more with their first chakra than they are with the Swadisthana Chakra. And females will be working with the Swadisthana Chakra way more than a male would. And sometimes you can use it so much that it goes in balance, and sometimes you're not paying enough attention to it that you're just not really having any sexual drive, and you're not really being creative, and you're really static and stale. And even though you're a man, you can still use this chakra in order to be creative and be intuitive, because it's always great as a human being to have masculine qualities and feminine qualities. Not everyone's going to agree with this, but it's good to completely understand your opposite sex. So let's go ahead and talk about the imbalanced Swadhisthana chakras and the effects on when you're using it too much and when you're not using it enough. So if you're excessively using your sacral chakra, what could end up happening is a number of things. It could be all of these things, or it could just be that specific thing that you're giving too much attention to in your life. And you can become addicted to sex. You can become addicted to different types of fetishes, because you're off into that fantasy world of that fetish, and you're getting the pleasure from it, and you're just addicted to that pleasure. So what are you feeding? You're feeding your Swadhisthana chakra, and just feeding it and feeding it. And then you're just going to get super emotional. So that's another thing. You won't really have a good grasp on your emotions when you're excessively over-activating your Swadhisthana chakra. You can be very irrational, right? Just really irrational. You can have very bad emotional menstrual cycles, or your menstrual cycles could actually end up being inconsistent, or just inconsistent menstrual cycles. Or you could end up being too floaty, just ended up being way too caught up in your own world and not really being grounded, okay? Because this is the opposite of the first chakra. So we're not grounded right now. We're way up in the sky, and we're just imagining, and we're just thinking that life is just here as a pleasure. And when you're thinking about pleasures 24/7 and you're really sensitive, or you're really emotional, this is going to get in the way of your thinking, your psychological thought process. It's going to get in the way of your day-to-day life for sure. If you wake up thinking about sex fetishes, or if you wake up thinking about your addictions to pleasure, your addiction to a specific type of cake or brownie. You're addicted to brownies, and that's just running your life because that's taste. Or you're addicted to a certain type of feeling. You're addicted to a certain type of emotional feeling. Like you could be addicted to feeling sad. That's dealing with your Swadisthana Chakra. And then you can just end up messing it up because you now are always depressed and you're addicted to that. So a number of different things can happen when it's being too overactive. But to sum it all up, you'll end up being addicted to pleasures relating to the 5 different senses and relating to your emotions and fantasies, all the Jupiter qualities, right? So when you're not using this chakra at all, you're not paying attention to it, you're going to be having a lack of creativity. You know, you're just going to be really bland, like really black or white, no in between, or not even necessarily black or white, but just really dull. You can end up having a low sex drive, being very pessimistic, being really depressed. And one of the emotions that happen a lot with your sacral chakra being imbalanced in a way where it's not being active enough is shame. You can just feel shame a lot. Whether that's because you feel ashamed of your body or ashamed of yourself, you feel shame. So when you feel shame, you're not comfortable with yourself. And the sacral chakra has all to deal with being comfortable with who you are in your skin because it's sexuality. So it's not good. It's not a good look to, especially as a female, it's definitely not a good look to have this out of whack. You don't want to run around, being super emotional, getting in fights every 2 seconds, throwing glasses at people with water. You don't want, you want to be able to handle your emotions, still show your emotions, but try and show your good emotions. Your bad emotions, let it out in different ways. But the whole world doesn't need to see that. It's okay to keep that to yourself. That's okay. Things that can happen with this Swadhisthana chakra when it's imbalance is, since it's in this bodily function, you can end up getting bladder infections, UTIs, or just problems down there in that area. You can end up just having a bad bladder, a bad metabolism as well, because that's dealing with that area. So ways to heal this chakra. First thing you want to do is meditate. Meditate, learn to silence your mind, learn to silence your thoughts, and learn to listen. That's the first step of meditation for the practice is salvana, listening. So you want to make yourself aware and grow accustomed to the energy of your soul, which isn't the person that's thinking. It's not the tool we're using. It's not our mind. It's our soul, which doesn't talk or speak. It's just listening. So, that's how, spiritual gurus and people have found the best way to explain it. But it's one of those things where once you have that feeling of it, even if you feel it for 1 second, you understand it way more than how any guru with that experience could tell you about it. Or is how I just repeated from what I've learned about it. So yeah, you want to meditate, go out inside in nature, and do yoga. Doing yoga will really help you with the Swadhisthana chakra because it's all about flexibility. We're not staying stuck and static. We are expanding, so we're being flexible. So any yoga poses that allow you to open up your body, that allow you to open up your heart chakra, open up all your chakras. In yoga poses that are opening up your pelvis, that's going to be the best yoga poses for you to do with the Swadisthana Chakra. Not to mention that the color for this chakra is orange, so you can go outside and meditate and put your attention on that sacral chakra and put your attention on the color orange. And when we talk about orange and colors with chakras, it can differ depending on the person's feelings and their thought process. If somebody feels like their sacral chakra is the color yellow, then that's okay with them, because that's just how they feel that chakra is. So orange is basically just a way of describing the feeling that this chakra is. So you can also eat orange things. You can eat citrus stuff. You can eat aphrodisiac types of foods and fruits. Eat good food, organic food, because we're dealing with our bladder and our colon. So if we're putting crap into our stomach, we're going to mess with our creativity. We're going to mess with our mind and our thought process. We're going to mess with all the functions of the sacral chakra. You can also do ab workouts. For some reason, I find it when I do ab workouts, and it hurts, yes, but for some reason I feel this, I always feel my sacral chakra, but when I'm done doing an ab workout, it's really activating. Like, it's active. It's so active, and I'm really sensual and stuff. And it's like, I think it's because you're putting your attention on that workout in that general area, and at the same time stretching is very good for that. But that might be personal, but tell me what you guys think in the comment section if you want for that one. So you can also use any orange crystal. This is the symbol for the Swadisthana Chakra, and this is orange aventurine. You can also use citrine. You can also use calcolite, orange calcolite. And yeah, that's basically going to be it. There's so much to cover about the chakras, but those are the main things. So didn't want to make the video too lengthy for you guys, but I hope you guys could take something from this video, and I hope you guys succeed in your journey to balancing this chakra or activating it, or whatever journey you're on to knowing that it's there, or just being a healthier spiritual being. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching.